What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home. A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I am Rochelle Pramodana.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Former Minister Mahindananda sentenced to 20 years. Former Minister Nalin sentenced to 25 years of rigorous imprisonment. Bail application denied. Duminda Disanayaka further remanded over his connection to the discovery of a gold-coloured T-56 assault rifle. Kehelia's daughter provides a statement to the Bribery Commission. US court blocks Trump tariffs. Trump administration to appeal. Anudhi Gunasekara wins second place in Multimedia Challenge at Miss World 2025. National Tax Week announced.
Starting off with news here at home, the Colombo Permanent High Court at Bar today sentenced former Sports Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage to 20 years of rigorous imprisonment, while former Trade Minister Nalin Fernando received a 25-year sentence. The sentence was imposed after the duo was found guilty of indictments filed against them by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption.
What is this case? The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption had indicted former Sports Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage and former Trade Minister Nalin Fernando for abusing their official authority and authorizing the purchase of 14,000 carom boards and 11,000 checkers boards through Sirasa and distributing them among sports associations during the run-up to the 2015 presidential election. These actions had caused a loss of 53.1 million rupees to the government. At the time of the incident, Mahindananda Alutgamage was the Minister of Sports and Nalin Fernando was the chairman of Sirasa. The Bribery Commission had filed 6 indictments against the 2 suspects at the Colombo Permanent High Court at Bar. High Court judges Mahesh Veeraman, Pradeep Abiratna and Amali Ranavira were the members of the bench that heard the case, and the hearings were concluded on the 19th of December 2024. The judgment in the case was pronounced today. What was the judgment? The judgment that consisted of 84 pages held that the prosecution had proved their case against the defendants beyond a reasonable doubt. Quote,
the defendants had pleaded his case after the application made by the counsel for the defendants to acquit the defendants on the grounds that insufficient evidence had been laid against the defendants was rejected. At the end of the trial, the allegations leveled against the defendants had been proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Thereby, the defendants are found guilty of the indictments. If there are any requests for the defendants before sentencing, they can be presented now.
End quote. President's Counsel Anil Silva, appearing for the first defendant, former Minister of Trade and Chairman of Sirasa, Nalin Fernando, submitted that his clients had not made any gains through this transaction. Quote,
my lord, my client had not contributed to this crime. He had imported the goods based on instructions that he received. State sector employees get a good message through this case. Not to do everything that the minister tells them to do, because when they face an issue, they will not get any concessions. In the end, they lose all the good things that they did as well. My lord, please consider these matters and give my client a lenient sentence.
End quote. Appearing for former Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage, President's Counsel Shanaka Ranasinghe requested court for a lenient sentence as his client had not been found guilty of a crime before. Quote,
my lord, these proceedings had taken 6 years. This time period must also be taken into consideration. My client has stepped down from politics. He has no intention of re-entering politics again. He is 61 years old now. My client has not been found guilty of any offence before. Therefore, please give him a sentence that allows him to reintegrate into society.
End quote. In response to the submissions of the 2 President's Counsels, the Assistant Director of the Bribery Commission, Anuttara Jayasinghe, who appeared for the commission, submitted to court that the two suspects had misused their official authority to commit these crimes. Quote,
"My lord, these accused had committed these crimes against the people while they were employees in the state sector. These accused knowingly destroyed the money of the general public that was allocated through the budget. Therefore, the government lost over 53 million rupees of tax money collected from the general public. This is a massive loss caused to the general public. Public sector employees and public representatives who are elected to parliament by the people are supposed to develop the country. They must use their authority properly. They must not misuse state power to do whatever they want. These sorts of actions had contributed to the economic crisis of the country. This is the truth. My lord, these two suspects must be given a punishment in a manner that would send out a message to anyone intending on committing such crimes. Therefore, hand down a sentence that would motivate those who stand against corruption. The general public must feel that everyone is equal before the law."
End quote.
Mount Levina Magistrate Tusitha Halua today placed former Minister Duminda Disanayaka under remand custody until the 5th of June. He was arrested in connection with the discovery of a gold-coloured T-56 assault rifle at a luxury apartment complex in Vellavatta.
President's counsel Sampath Mendes appeared in court today on behalf of former Minister Duminda Disanayaka and made submissions to the court. He said that Duminda Disanayaka spent his childhood in the Anuradhapura district, an area that was frequently targeted by LTTE terrorist attacks. He went on to note that his father, Bertie Premalal Disanayaka, is a former Member of Parliament, Cabinet Minister and former Chief Minister of the North Central Province. President's counsel Mendes explained that due to the LTTE threats in Anuradhapura, police officers, army personnel and special task force members were deployed to protect Disanayaka's father and their family. He further noted that having grown up in an environment where weapons were present from an early age, firearms were not an unusual element in Duminda Disanayaka's life. Mendes said the former minister had handed over the firearm to a friend and there was no necessity for a 68-year-old woman to be involved in its disposal. He described the case against his client as nothing more than a chain of irrational facts. President's counsel Mendes also argued that under Section 43 of the Firearms Ordinance, a person found in possession of an unlicensed firearm must first be proven guilty in court before charges can be filed under that section. Attorney at law Tikshana Patirana, appearing on behalf of the second suspect, a Kazakh national, requested bail, stating that there was no evidence her client had any knowledge regarding the firearm. Senior State Counsel Damdini De Silva objected to granting bail to the suspects, stating that only 10 days had passed since the arrest, which was not sufficient time to complete the investigation. She emphasized that statements are yet to be recorded from the security personnel and other employees of Duminda Disanayaka with whom he had contact at the time. She argued that if the suspects are released at this stage, they could tamper with potential witnesses. The magistrate denied bail, citing the ongoing nature of the investigation and the risk of interference. She ordered that all suspects be produced before the court again on the 5th of June. Meanwhile, Amali Rambukvella, the daughter of former Minister Kelia Rambukvella, arrived at the Bribery Commission today. She appeared before the Bribery Commission today after she was notified by the Commission to provide a statement.
One of the suspects who was arrested for carrying out a shooting targeting Tusitha Halua, the former director of the National Lotteries Board, provided a confidential statement to the Colombo Additional Magistrate Court today. Reporting to the court on the progress of investigations, the Colombo Crimes Division informed the court that investigations had revealed that the arrested suspects were involved in the shooting.
Colombo Additional Magistrate Pasan Amarasena today ordered for the 6 suspects arrested for their involvement in the shooting targeting Tusitha Halua, the former director of the National Lotteries Board, to be further remanded until the 12th of June. The investigating officers informed court that they had requested for the mobile phone of Tusitha Halua to be provided for investigations and that he had handed over his mobile phone to the officers. The officers, however, informed court that it has been revealed that the mobile phone phone that was handed over was not the mobile phone used by Tusitha Halua on the date of the incident. The investigating officers requested court to order Tusitha Halua to hand over the mobile phone that he used on the date of the incident to the officers.
An attorney at law today lodged a complaint with the Criminal Investigation Department regarding allegations made by members of Parliament Udayagam Mampila and Dayasiri Jayasekara, who claim that 323 containers were released from customs without undergoing proper inspection.
Udayagam Manpila and Dayasiri Jayasekara have said that 323 containers were released from customs without proper inspection. They claim that this happened around January 18th, and since then, crime rates in Sri Lanka has gone up. They suspect that weapons or drugs may have been brought into the country in those containers. There's no point in talking about it in the media. There are no proper ways to investigate these claims. But these two MPs have not made any official complaint or asked for an investigation until now. We want to know the truth behind this. We have the right to ask for an investigation to find out if what they say is true. That's why we have filed a complaint with the CID asking them to question the MPs if they have any information about this matter. Still in local news, Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali today granted permission to the Police Narcotics Bureau to detain and question 11 suspects who were arrested while transporting nearly 778 kilograms of heroin and ice during a maritime operation in the southern seas.
The 11 suspects arrested during a joint operation by the Sri Lanka Navy, State Intelligence Service and the Police Narcotics Bureau with international assistance were brought to the Dikovita port yesterday morning along with 2 vessels and a large stock of drugs. They were presented before Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali today by officers from the Police Narcotics Bureau. The officers requested permission to detain and question the suspects as the investigation is still ongoing. The Chief Magistrate accepted the request and granted permission to detain the suspects for 1 week for further questioning. Police say they suspect the drug shipment was coordinated with the involvement of 3 drug traffickers currently living abroad. A motorcycle spare parts shop owner was injured in a shooting this morning in Wakada, Panadura. 2 men on a motorcycle opened fire and then fled the scene. The incident was captured on a CCTV camera installed in the shop. According to police, the victim was shot around 10 times with a T-56 assault rifle. Police also said that the businessman is suspected to have close connections with drug traffickers and further investigations are ongoing.
Newsfirst with the people.
The President's office has officially declared National Tax Week, scheduled to take place from the 2nd of June to the 8th of June 2025 as part of a nationwide initiative to raise awareness about the importance of tax contributions and strengthen government revenue.
As part of the government's initiative to boost state revenue, a new bureau titled the Revenue Administration Reform and Modernization has been established under President's office. In line with this, numerous programs have been organized nationwide for National Tax Week, coordinated through Sri Lanka Customs the Inland Revenue Department and the Excise Department.
The main objective is to shift the public's current negative perception on tax payments into a more positive outlook. This includes fostering a new tax culture rooted in transparency and accountability, while also raising awareness about how tax contributions support national development and the direct benefits that citizens receive in return. Through this public awareness effort, the goal is to enhance tax compliance and, most importantly, to expand the tax base. There are still many individuals and groups who have not yet registered under any tax category. We invite these groups to become part of the nation-building process. The taxes you pay are used responsibly to develop the country, and ultimately, this benefits will return to you. So come forward and register, because your contributions matter and it will benefit you in the end.
As part of Tax Week, beginning on Tuesday, a nationwide awareness program will be launched through our main office and 20 regional offices. This initiative will take place in key locations identified across the country, aiming to educate taxpayers, tax consultants and government officials on various tax-related matters. These events will also provide an opportunity for taxpayers to receive guidance on accurately completing their tax returns.
Officials
from the department cannot do this alone. There are some importers who evade taxes. There is a process at the Customs Department for the general public to provide information. We will focus on this matter during this week. If you provide us with information, we will protect the identity of the informant and reward those informants.
According to
the excise ordinance, taxes on alcohol and tobacco are imposed at the point of production, even before they reach the market. As a result, our direct tax transactions take place with the manufacturers. After these products are released into the market, a substantial tax revenue is collected by both the Inland Revenue Department and Sri Lanka Customs. By properly regulating the production process, we ensure that the public receive the intended benefits from these taxes.
A U.S. federal court has ruled that President Donald Trump cannot use emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs on imported goods, dealing a major blow to one of his most controversial economic strategies.
The decision, issued by a 3-judge panel at the U.S. Court of International Trade in New York, came in response to lawsuits challenging Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs. The court found that Trump had overstepped his legal authority under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or the IEEPA, which does not permit the president to regulate imports through tariffs. Trump had argued that the U.S. trade deficit was a national emergency and used that justification to impose tariffs on a wide range of imports. He claimed the tariffs would bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. and reduce the federal deficit. However, critics said the move destabilized global markets, strained trade relationships, and increased prices for American consumers. White House spokesperson Kush Desai defended the administration's actions, calling trade deficits a national crisis that had harmed American workers and industries. He said the administration remains committed to using all available executive powers to address the issue. Despite the ruling, Trump may still have limited authority under a different law, the Trade Act of 1974, to impose temporary tariffs of up to 15% for 150 days on countries with which the U.S. has significant trade deficits. The court's decision does not affect tariffs that Trump imposed under a separate law, Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which allowed him to place tariffs on steel, aluminum and auto parts based on national security concerns. The lawsuit was brought by small businesses and a coalition of states led by Oregon. Plaintiffs argued that the trade deficit does not constitute a national emergency and that Trump's actions bypassed Congress, which traditionally holds the power to regulate trade. The ruling is appealed, and the case may ultimately be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. Asian shares have advanced and US futures jumped after a federal court blocked President Donald Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs on imports under an emergency powers law. Markets welcomed the ruling. The future for the S&P 500 was up 1.6%, while that for the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 1.3%. Japan's Nikkei 225 index jumped 1.6% to 38,324.19. America's largest ally in Asia has been appealing to Trump to cancel the tariffs he has ordered on imports from Japan and to also stop 25% tariffs on steel, aluminum and autos. The ruling also pushed the dollar sharply higher against the Japanese yen. Elsewhere in Asia, Hong Kong's Hang Seng added 0.3% to 23,328.28, while the Shanghai Composite Index gained 0.5% to 3,355.39. Australia's S&P ASX 200 gained 0.3% to 8,418.90. In South Korea, which like Japan relies heavily on exports to the US, the Kospi surged 1.5% to 2,709.42.
Meanwhile, another round of discussions on the tariffs imposed by the United States on Sri Lanka was held in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Sri Lanka was represented by a delegation that included Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning Harshana Surya Peruma. The talks were held at the invitation of the Office of the United States Trade Representative.
දේශපාලනයේ මතවාද මත බේද මත විමසුම් සහ මත ගැටුම්
ජනාධිපති අරමුදලේ සල්ලි අරගත්තු වට්ටියනේ විරුද්ධ පක්ෂයේ മന്ത്രിවරු ෂෝ එකක් දාන්නවත් මාධ්‍ය සංදර්ශනයක්වත් නෙමෙයි කතා කරන්නේ සර් මෙයාට පිස්සු කේලම් කියන එක මම නැවතුවා උතුරේ ලුණු දකුණේ ලුණු කියලා ලුණු නෑ බොස් හරිද රටේ ලුණු තියෙන්නේ
ලාංකේය දේශපාලනයේ පෙරලිකාර අදහස් සමගින්
ආණ්ඩුවට විරුද්ධව 50%ට වැඩිය තියෙන හැමතැනකම අපි විපක්ෂය ප්‍රාදේශීය බලය පිටුවා. අපි ටර්න් එකක් ගැහුවේ මහා මැතිවරණයේදී.
දැන් අපි මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ නෑ අපි මේ පොඩි මිනිස්සු කියලා කියමුකෝ. මාලිමාවේ ඕනිම අයියා කෙනෙක්. හිට්ටි බච්චි බිට්ටි බුට්ටි ඕනි කෙනෙක් එක්ක එන්න.
නරියා මිදිවැලේ තියෙන මිදි කන්න පැනලා කිව්වලු අල්ල ගන්න බැරි වෙලා කිව්වලු ඇඹුල් කියලා.
දිනින් දින උණුසුම් වන දේශපාලනයේ අවසන් කැපුම. Final cut unedited. සතේ දිනවල රාත්‍රී 7:30ට TV1 ඔස්සේ.
Test cricket.
It's not like other sports. It's not just about power or speed.
It's about skill,
intelligence, endurance.
This is cricket at its purest.
A battle of wills,
of minds,
of hearts.
The mace, the ultimate prize.
Lords, the ultimate venue.
This is the ultimate test match.
World Test Championship 2025 Final. Australia versus South Africa. Live on TV1 3 p.m. onwards.
Welcome back to the news. Public opinions are being gathered on the proposed electricity tariff revisions.
A public meeting to gather opinions on the proposed revision of electricity tariffs was held today in Anuradhapura. The meeting was chaired by Deputy Chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, P.L. Nayaka.
There is a clear electricity mafia in operation. A small group is creating this crisis. When they went to the IMF, the same people, they ignored the previous figures and started presenting it as a loss-making institution. The IMF then said that the next tranche can't be released if such state-owned institutions continue to operate at a loss. But it's the same group of people who created this situation. We've always been suggesting shifting to renewable energy to reduce electricity costs. Why isn't that being done? If there is a loss, the loss must be covered. That is clear. But what was the reason for the loss? This matter should be investigated. If a company is making losses, we have to take certain decisions. But without doing any of that, putting all of this burden on the people and industrialists in the country is causing much harm to the country. If this waste is not stopped by hook or by crook, no matter which government comes into power, nothing can be done. The Elon Electricity Board is a company that takes salaries any way they want and destroy the producer, employees and businessmen of the country. Sri Lanka is the country where state sector employees talk the most. They talk a lot, make presentations, appoint commissions, but the output is zero.
Output එක බිඳුවයි.
The Union of Post and Telecommunications Officers says the strike, which was launched demanding solutions for more than 10 issues including staff shortages, will continue until midnight tomorrow. Its president GGC Niroshan has said that the government has not taken any action to fill the long-standing vacancies.
The postal strike has disrupted postal delivery activities at the Central Mail Exchange. Meanwhile, many post offices were also seen closed today.
In the Department of Post, positions from second tier or third tier postmaster up to deputy postmaster are filled through internal promotions from third or second tier postmasters. However, no external recruitment for these posts had taken place since 2016. As a result, the workforce is shrinking at an alarming rate, with the department currently facing a shortage of over 2,000 officers. The Department of Post is currently a loss-making institution. It is essential to work towards turning it around. The minister in charge has already held a joint discussion, and 6 or 7 of the demands have been addressed at the implementation level. The remaining issues are in the process of being resolved. However, some of these matters take time. The employees themselves know that a service constitution for such an institution cannot be drafted and approved overnight. Proposals cannot be made to just one union. There must be agreement from all employees involved.
Far from the city noise, under a mango tree, children turn broken desks into a stage. They sing, they dance, they try. No bright lights, no big crowds, just a small school and big dreams. Change is coming. An open-air stage for the Kattaragama Primary School. Gammatta, for the people, by the people.
Test cricket.
ලෝකයක් බලා ඉන්න. ලෝකයෝ හැපෙන. ලෝක ටෙස්ට් ශූරතාවලිය.
It's about skill,
intelligence,
endurance,
ඔස්ට්‍රේලියාව හා දකුණු අප්‍රිකාව අතර.
wills of mind,
of hearts.
සෙල්ලම ඉස්සල්ලම TV1 තිරපිටියෙන් ජූනි 11 සිට 15 දක්වා.
This is the ultimate test match.
Welcome back to the news. The Shaki crowns Season 2, a revolutionary revival of Sri Lankan Tamil reality music shows, kicked off today at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana. The second edition of the show will be telecast on every Saturday and Sunday at 8:30 p.m. on Shaki TV.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Shaki Crown Season 2, Renaissance of Tamil music, where young talent from across all walks of life come together here on one stage, and where dreams come true, where dreams come to life on this very stage.
The Shaki Crown Season 2 is unveiled to Sri Lankan audiences as a production of international standards, continuing a legacy of Tamil language reality television excellence. Following the tremendous success of shows like Shakti Superstar, Shakti Junior Superstar and Shaki Crown Season 1, this new season promises to raise the bar even higher. Shaki Crown Season 2 has taken the nation by storm, with auditions held at over 16 locations across Sri Lanka and more than 8,000 participants showcasing their talent. This season went beyond our borders with international auditions held in countries across the world, opening the stage to Tamil talent around the world. The official premiere of Shakti Crown Season 2 took place today at Stein Studios, Ratmalana, under the leadership of Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Siobhan Daniel, and Chief Operating Officer of the MTV Media Network, Yasarat Kamalsiri. The launch was also attended by senior officials from the Capital Maharaja Group, sponsors and other distinguished guests.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to export something from Sri Lanka, you either need a ship or an airplane. Not in the case of music. Music is potentially our most powerful export because we have a heritage of music. And no border can stop or limit the expansion of Sri Lankan music. We have a deep heritage of music. And it is quite clear in the annual productions we do of The Voice and of Crown. You know, every year at the start of the season we think, will we have the same talent that we had last year? And the answer every year is, it gets better. It's a never-ending production line of super talent. And all we need to do is provide them with this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was seated over there, I got an SMS alert, I'm sure you've received it as well. Anudhi Gunasekara, the young Sri Lankan superstar beauty queen, has just been placed second in the Miss World Digital Challenge category, which is a fantastic achievement which we all share in the joy of her achievement. All she needed was a stage. All we need to provide our young people is a stage, and they will do the rest. And that is the dream. And I can assure you, as far as the Sirasa Shakti Media Network and M Entertainment is concerned, we believe in this dream, we will work for this dream, and we will achieve this dream with all of us together.
Shakti Crown Season 2 is undoubtedly slated to take reality TV in Sri Lanka to the next level. We will provide the ultimate opportunity for talented singers to shine on this amazing stage. The program this year kicks off with a record number of commercial partners, and they were also recognized on today's event.
Ladies and gentlemen, our main sponsor, Medoli. Ladies and gentlemen, another main sponsor, Eva. Ladies and gentlemen, your main sponsor, Maliban Milk.
Shakti Crown Season 2 is being brought to life through the combined efforts of the MTV MBC Media Network, Newsfirst, Stein Studios, Ratmalana, South Asia's largest studio complex, and M Entertainment. All with the goal of delivering a truly engaging experience for the public. Starting from the 7th of June, Shakti Crown Season 2 promises to bring all the excitement to you every weekend at 8:30 p.m. only on Shakti TV.
On to news overseas, a tech billionaire Elon Musk has announced that he is leaving the administration of United States President Donald Trump, where he led a months-long project to cut costs in the federal government.
Elon Musk is leaving his position as de facto head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or the DOGE, announcing his departure via X on Wednesday. An anonymous White House official confirmed Musk's departure to foreign media. Though Musk stated that his time at DOGE was scheduled, there was no clear indication as to exactly how long he would be involved with it prior to this week's announcement. While it was revealed in February that White House official Amy Gleason had been appointed DOGE's acting administrator sometime earlier, in practical terms, Musk has remained in charge until now. Musk previously indicated he would be reducing his involvement with DOGE during Tesla earnings call in April. The billionaire said that he would significantly lower the amount of time he spent on DOGE in May, as well as increase his attention on Tesla. It now seems though Musk believes that time has come to an end. While Trump has not yet issued a public statement regarding his departure, the news comes a day after Musk uncharacteristically criticized the president's tax bill, stating that it increases the budget deficit, not just decreases it, and undermines the work that the Dodge team is doing.
Day 3 of the 2025 Asian Athletics Championships, currently taking place in South Korea, commenced today. Rasara Vijayasuriya, who competed in the women's 10,000 meters event, set a new national record for Sri Lanka.
The final of the women's 10,000 meter event held yesterday afternoon was interrupted due to heavy rain. As a result, the tournament organizers decided to reschedule the race for today. Accordingly, Sri Lanka's Rasara Vijayasuriya finished in 7th place in the event held this morning, clocking a time of 33 minutes and 21.62 seconds. This performance marks a new national record for Sri Lanka, surpassing the previous record, which was also held by herself. Several events at the championship were also affected by rain today. As a result, 3 events featuring Sri Lankan athletes, the men's high jump, the men's 400-meter relay and the women's 400-meter relay, could not commence at their scheduled times.
Sri Lanka's Anudhi Gunasekara has made history by coming in first runner-up from Asia in the Miss World Multimedia Challenge. Sri is the first Sri Lankan ever to achieve this milestone. Today in Happy Headlines, we celebrate this remarkable achievement for our nation.
Happy Headlines. Anudhi Gunasekara represents Sri Lanka at the 72nd Miss World pageant, currently taking place in Hyderabad, India, which will have its grand finale on the 31st of May 2025. In a remarkable achievement, Anudhi secured 2nd place in the Miss World Multimedia Challenge, Asia, a testament to her creativity, communication and digital engagement. As the final task of the Multimedia Challenge of the 72nd Miss World Festival, the 5 continental finalists were invited to create a special video sharing their personal journeys from the moment they were crowned in their home countries to their days at the Miss World experience in Telangana, India. After a careful evaluation, 1 video was selected as the winner in each continental region, earning its creator a place among the Miss World quarter-finalists. With this achievement, she also secures a prestigious spot among the top 8 global winners of the Multimedia Challenge, selected from 108 participants. Thailand claimed the top spot. We extend our warmest wishes to Anudhi as she competes for the Miss World crown, carrying the pride of Sri Lanka with grace and strength.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.